Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Glaze It or Lose It. Now this is a series that I do with my friends Sharon, Amber, and Crystal. Amber and Sharon play on Instagram, and Crystal and I place our videos on YouTube. I'm sure Crystal places hers on Instagram too. I'm just not the greatest at the gram, so it doesn't always show up there. The whole point of the series is to use your mixed media before it dries up. I am working in my never-ending kit, Disney style, and I do have my favorite stencil of all time. This is the All-Star stencil from Scrapping Reflections, which also is my shop. And I am going to be using this paper right here. So this is a Simple Stories collection, and it has these lemons on this side, and I don't have need of them. So I am going to use this. Now I am pulling out my glaze to try to figure out what I want to do. And I have a little bit of my Scarlet Glitter Glaze left. I also have this chunky glitter glaze, which is red hearts. Now these are not the exact same red, but I am going to mix them together on my stencil. I also, if I wanted to, I do have a backup of the Scarlet, so I could go with that if I wanted to, but like I said, I'm trying to use up stuff, so if I can get this used and this attempted to use, that would be two instead of one. So I have those, my stencil, my photos, my kit, so let's see what I can do. All right, so I have my All-Stars stencil placed over top of my 12 by 12 paper. It is being held in place by a little piece of washi tape. Now this glitter glaze is a little thick, you guys. That means it is starting to dry out. Glitter glaze is much more fluid when it is fresh, but it is still very usable, okay? Very usable. So I am going to place this on. I am excited I get to use the entire jar here. There isn't any left over in this one, and it goes into the bin. And then I was able to add on that chunky red heart glitter glaze as well. And that just kind of topped over the hearts, and it added a little bit of extra dimension because of the larger flakes of glitter that are in it. So as you can see, my stencil is very dirty now that it's got all of that beautiful red glitter glaze on top of it. I am using a silicone brush to go ahead and brush that on. I find this to be the easiest thing to place glazes on. They've got like a tapered edge. It's just a really easy tool for me to use. If you haven't ever gotten your hands on one, they do sell them at Hobby Lobby. I purchased them when they are 40% off, when their art section goes for 40% off, because they are Master's Touch, and that is Hobby Lobby's house brand, and it does go on sale. And I say that to say that's when I purchased them, but I have a handful of them now, and I haven't purchased another one for myself in a hot moment, but that is when I did purchase them. So because my glaze is so very wet, I am going to go ahead and build my page and then place it on top of my background. I have these 3 photos from Buzz Lightyear. This is the Space Ranger spin. If you've never been and experienced this ride, you get into a spaceship and you are shooting your laser beams at the Z's for Zurg, and you want to get as high of a score as possible. Now this was not a ridiculously high score. I have scored way higher than this in the past, but sometimes you get that rocket ship with the little laser gun, and that sucker just does not want to laser where you want it to laser. And then sometimes you get lucky and you get that laser that just boom, bullseye every single time. So just waxing poetic a little bit about the ride. It is something that is super fun. I do enjoy riding it. Would I wait 2 hours to ride it? Probably not. Would I wait an hour? Yes. Right? Like, I feel like how much I like a ride is how long I will be willing to wait for it. Right? So Haunted Mansion, 2 hours. Of course I'd wait 2 hours for that ride. I love Haunted Mansion. Okay, so I am taping my glassine envelope to my photos right here. Now, I did trim down the photos so that this long photo mat is 11 inches, so I will have a little bit of border around the page. I should have trimmed this down to 10 inches, you guys. That way it would have left a little bit more star peeking through and peeking out from behind the photos. But after I had already created the layout, plopped it down, when I was like, oh, maybe I should have made this a little bit smaller. Since it was already plopped down, and I plopped it down on top of the wet glitter glaze, I just let it go. It done is better than perfect. Okay, and now I know for next time if I want to do something similar, I'm gonna trim my photos down to at least 10 inches size. Okay, so I am pulling out some die cuts, and these die cuts are from my Disney cart. And like I said, we're using the Never Ending Kit, but I'm pulling in the Disney stuff for Magical May. Now, when I chose my photos to wrap up Magical May, I didn't realize that my photos were kind of like, the okay photos. Like, I've already scrapbooked most of the fun photos. There's a couple left in there. Like, these were fun photos, but yeah. So I'm really glad that people come for the scrapbooking and the techniques and not the photography. Although if you were coming for photography, this is definitely not the channel for you, because I don't spend the time editing my photos. I just don't, right? Like, I just don't. It's too much, guys. Like, I would rather spend my time doing the fun things than editing photos, because editing photos are not the fun things. Okay, so I am building this up, pulling out these die cuts. I really like this little laser gun and the UFO that's going on. I thought I was going to use this other UFO, this yellow one that I just had in my hand right there. But when I measure it on my paper, I realized that I am going longer than 12 inches. So that's a problem. So I'm not going to worry about that whatsoever. I did come to the realization today that my grid mat does not have quarter hashtags all the way across. They are just half-inch kind of lines on there, which doesn't bother me too much. It's not like I wasn't going to buy this bad boy because it was at a cheap, ridiculous price, and my pink one was, giving up the ghost. So I'm happy with it, but that is something to be aware of, that I just had this realization. So I am trying to figure out how I'm going to get my title on here. I grab my little embellishment box. This is a Sterilite box. The little blue things on the inside pop out. It is not a box that will hold everything in such good place, but I did take this box on an airplane with this stuff in it, and there was only very slight movement. So take that as what you will, but it is not going to be like sealed. You can't guarantee that something isn't going to come out of one part of the cup and go into the other. That's just the way it is. I am going to use this big old ampersand here because it's going to say magic and whatever it says and lasers. I can't really see it on my screen, and I'm not wearing my glasses, so my layout's across the room from me right now and it's blurry. So I couldn't tell you. I think it says Magic and Wonder, though. So Magic and Wonder and Lasers is going to go on there because, it's what it is. Magic and Wonder and Lasers. So I am using a good amount of fun foam on this layout because I want it to be lifted up a little bit. And I do get the last of my blue magic mesh used up, so that is super exciting for me, which means I can go to the cart and grab another color. I love it. I still love the magic mesh, you guys, and I love burlap and all of that stuff. It just makes me happy, right? Like, if magic mesh was being sold right now, I'd be all over it. But you can still buy drywall tape, and I'm going to attempt to color it here one of these days with some alcohol markers. Okay, so we're getting the magic mesh on. That is going to be taped down with some washi tape. And There's also some adhesive that I'm using to press the magic mesh in. I don't want the magic mesh falling off, so again, here's the washi tape. Now, this washi tape is a great washi tape. It sticks great, right? Like it's still sticky. However, it's not really a washi tape that I will use a whole heck of a lot on my layouts. So I do go through washi tape quicker because I am pulling the washi tape that I'm not using or that has sat in my stash for a long time. It was gifted to me, or, you know, in a kit or in, you know, a grab bag or something, because I have a thing with washing the back of my layouts and things, and it just makes me happy, so I'm just going to use it. Now, originally I was going to put these guys over on the right-hand side of the page and add in something in between there, but I couldn't think of what I wanted to add there, and all it was doing was giving me this awkward gap look. And I don't need any awkward gaps, so I decided to bring that into the join. Now I think this is where I place my layout down and I see how big I've actually gone, and that is because I wasn't paying attention, right? Like I just wasn't. So I bring all of that in, so my layout isn't going to extend past my background. And I get that figured out, and I get my title on there, and then I just got to find the perfect letters for them. So guys, question for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you have ever scrapbooked this way, where you build your layout and then place it on top of your background. It is something I do. I don't know if I do it enough to say I do it regularly, but it is something that I am comfortable doing, and it doesn't really bother me. Except when I don't pay attention to how big it's getting, because that has happened a couple times in the past. There are ways to combat that though, but you know, I'm just winging it. So I have this Simple Stories sticker book, and it has 3 size and style of letter sticker in multiple colors. So it has the larger print sticker, the smaller print sticker, and also some tile stickers, and they're all in the same color. So it says Magic and Wonder and Lasers. So I have my Disney stuff brought in with my Never Ending kit, and then there is the layout, and as you can see, it is still wet, or I don't know if you can actually see that, but just in case, it is still wet. And this is me moving these bad boys yet again, because I want it to be able to see as much of the stars from behind it. So we're almost to the end of this bottle, you guys, and it is clogging constantly because, you know, only the scrappy gods know why. But it is clogging pretty constantly. It is almost at the very end. As you can see, it was a little bit of a push to get that glue out. Now I am putting this on top of wet glitter glaze, so you would think that glitter glaze is basically a glitter glue and it would stick. But I am going to go ahead and add that Nouveau Deluxe just because the glitter has nooks and crannies, and that extra wet glue is really going to help it. As you can see, it's a little bit warped still, but it's still wet, and once it's in the album, it's going to flatten out and nobody's going to worry about it. So anyway, guys, that was today's video. Be sure to check out Crystal's YouTube channel. She is Pineapple Papers, and also Amber Dragonfly Dreams on Instagram, and Sharon Pez Scraps again on Instagram. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.